Hey y'all, if you're looking for easy recipes for those busy weeknights, I've got y'all. With just a little bit of prep, these 4 recipes came together in no time. We're kicking this off by making this Cajun potato soup. While I'm cutting up our vegetables, I do have some bacon going on the stovetop, so we'll need 2 celery sticks followed by 1 red bell pepper, and 1 white onion and 3 to 4 garlic cloves. For our sausage, I'm using the jalapeno sausage that we are just gonna cook up. Once that is done, we are gonna remove it from the pan, but we will be using all of that grease to cook down our red bell pepper and our celery. While our red bell pepper and our celery are cooking down, we are gonna dice up 4 potatoes that I have just peeled and washed. Once our red bell pepper and celery are cooked down, we are going to add in our onion and cook that until it is translucent. Once that is done, add in your garlic and give this all a good mix. To our vegetable mixture, we are sprinkling in 2 tablespoons of flour. Mix this together until all the clumps are gone, and then add in 4 cups of vegetable broth. Now I did follow this by adding in my potatoes, but I forgot to press record, so add in your potatoes. Next, use your favorite Cajun seasoning. We are adding in 2 tablespoons worth, followed by 1 tablespoon of ranch seasoning. Bring to a boil and then add your lid, cover and simmer for about 20 minutes or until your potatoes are tender. Now this part is totally optional, but I did want a creamier soup, so I am going in with my hand mixer and kind of blending this together and then going in with the potato masher just to mash up those potatoes. Now we are going to pour in 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, followed by a handful of cheese, however much cheese you want to add in. This was creamy and so flavorful. So while I was at the store, they did have a lot of clearance meats, one being this chuck roast. It was $11.34, originally like $17. So we are doing a roast tonight. I do have some carrots I bought last time. I'd had to buy a few ingredients for this meal, but it is worth it. It's a crock pot meal. I'm letting you know now. It does take 8 hours on low. So if you have the time to make it, definitely make this one. When I tell you all that this recipe is super simple, I mean it. It does take a little bit of prep, but it is totally worth it in the end, and that is coming from somebody who doesn't like roast. Let me scoot that up so you can actually see what I'm doing. I have 3 carrots, and this is also a meal that you could prep the night before, put it in a bag, dump it in your crock pot in the morning, and just head out the door. So I have the time to go ahead and prepare it. We do have baseball practice tonight, so we probably will be eating this after practice, but that is okay. To the bottom of our crock pot, let's go ahead and add in our chuck roast. I forgot what it was called. Go ahead and just top it with our carrots. Hello. And then dice up our potatoes. So for our potatoes, we are using 6 red potatoes. And then we'll just sprinkle those in to our crock pot. I did wash them off just a little bit. Probably should have done that before I cut them. It's whatever. So add those on top. For our onions, I do have just like 2 halves of onions. So I'm just gonna dice them up kind of chunky. If you want them smaller, you could definitely do it smaller, but I feel like these cook down well enough that it's not an issue. Lastly, we are adding in 1 packet of zesty Italian and 1 packet of brown gravy. And of course, ranch seasoning. We are measuring with our heart because we love it around here. Okay. And for our liquid, we have 1.5 cups of beef broth. I'm going to give this a good mix. And again, we are going to cook this on low for 8 hours. Okay, sorry about the background music. Blair is watching How to Train the Dragon 2. AKA the Hiccup movie, but baseball did get canceled tonight, which was fine because we still had dinner. Love crock pot meals. This smells so good. So it was on low for about 8.5 hours. I let it go a little bit longer. Sheldon's still not home. He had to work late tonight, but just look at that beef. I got 2 forks to shred this up. I don't even need 2 forks. Like, so much liquid, so much goodness. These potatoes are like so soft. Look at that. So good. So this is definitely going to make leftovers. We will have plenty for tomorrow night. That just shreds so easily. I'm so hungry. Nothing says childhood meals like roast bread with butter, and if I still drink sweet tea, then I would be dipping my bread in my sweet tea right now. But hey, I got 2 out of the 3 things. I'm happy. This smell is delicious. Just a heads up, this recipe does make a lot, so you'll definitely have enough for leftovers. So for our taco soup, this is the only part that we are gonna have to cook is the 1 pound of hamburger meat. I realize that mine is still a little bit frozen. That is okay. We are just gonna cook this down. I have about 30 minutes until I have to get into the car rider line, so that is plenty of time to put this together. Into our crock pot, we have 1 can of rinsed black beans, 1 can of corn. This time I did get the Mexi corn, but I usually just get the regular corn. So 1 can of that, also rinsed, 1 can of hot rotel, and 1 can of kidney beans. So since we were trying to use what we already had in our pantry, these are just the regular light red kidney beans, but I usually use the Bush's chili kidney beans. Add in 2 cups of beef. Now that our meat is done, we're just gonna add that back in. Now, I usually season the meat while it's cooking, but since I set some to the side for my daughter, I'm just gonna season it in the crock pot. So I'm just using taco seasoning, or you can make your own, probably 2 tablespoons worth. I don't know, measure with your heart. And some ranch seasoning. I buy the big bottle because we use so much of this. So again, sprinkle with your heart. Looks good to me. Give this a stir, and the only 2 ingredients that we have left are optional, but I feel like they definitely elevate this, is 1 diced jalapeno and about 1/4 to a tablespoon of cilantro. Okay, so I thought that I still had a jalapeno left, and I did not, so I just diced up some jarred jalapenos along with that cilantro. So just add that right in. And I still have another 10 minutes before I have to go to drop off, so plenty of time to get the dishes done. Like I said, super, super easy meal. Let's add some salt and pepper. Now, I did have somebody comment one time and say they needed some more fresh ingredients, like some onion. You could definitely add that to this. I just keep it very simple and basic. Let me know what y'all's favorite taco recipe is. All right, let's put our lid on it, get these dishes done. This taco soup is definitely one of our go-to recipes. I just finished mine off with a little bit of cheese, and it is so tasty. Do you ever have those nights where you just need a comfort meal? Well, today's that day, and I am making a tomato soup. This is my 2nd time making this recipe. So we are just gonna start with 4 Roma tomatoes that I am just dicing and then dicing again, and we are just gonna put this on our baking sheet that is lined with aluminum foil. We will be putting this in the oven at 425, so make sure that your oven is preheated. So just kind of spread those around. And then for our red bell pepper, I have 2 that I am just going to rough chop. All of this is going to get blended anyway, so it doesn't really matter how you cut it up. It's just gonna go in the oven to get roasted. Just spread that around. Last time I used a white onion, but I have half of a purple onion that I'm gonna use this time, and all we are going to do is just peel it. We're just gonna add those on here. I probably could have done a larger baking sheet, but it's fine. Let me know in the comments down below, what is y'all's like comfort meal? I feel like for me, it's Mexican food. Like if I'm just having one of those days, take me to our local favorite Mexican restaurant and quesadillas, enchiladas, chips and queso, chips and salsa, whatever it is, that is comfort to me. But I feel like soups are my next comfort food. They're warm and cozy. So mix that around and then just add 4 garlic cloves. Pour on a little bit of olive oil or vegetable oil, whatever you prefer. This is my husband's nifty little tool I think he got on Temu. Yeah, so just spritz that, and we are gonna put this in the oven at 425 for 40 to 45 minutes. After 40 minutes in the oven, we are going to take out our peppers and tomatoes. Place those to the side. We are actually going to take all of our ingredients and put it in a bowl because we are going to be blending this together. Now you could definitely put this in a blender, but I have one of those hand mixers. So just be very careful, but dump that all in. A little stuck, but that's okay. It's not okay? No. Okay. Into our vegetable mixture, we're going to add in about a tablespoon worth of butter and then 1/3 cup of milk. I'm going to pour a little bit in. We're going to get this blended up. We're just going to move this over into our pot. On our stovetop, I have 2 cups of chicken broth. Last time I used vegetable broth, but I'm just going to use what I have up. Make sure that we get everything in there. For our seasonings, we have 1/2 teaspoon of basil, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, along with salt and pepper to taste. I'm just gonna stir this, let it simmer until I am done making our grilled cheese, and then everything is gonna come together. I hope I gave y'all some inspiration for those busy weeknights. If you need some more, check out this video here.